Let's do some technical death metal, or could we call it progressive death metal? Doesn't really matter. This one is Contrarian from United States of America, and it's the fourth album by the band so far, yet the first album I actually got to listen. Now I don't know why the band has totally slipped under the radar. Maybe it's an American thing, because here in Europe we don't get that much American metal. Kidding aside, it seems like this band has quite a bit of following, but nevertheless, this is the first time I actually listening to this one, and now I seem not getting this piece of paper out of the jewel case. Hence the tool, the knife. Anyway, this is how the album looks. It runs for about 30 minutes. It has 8 tracks, and like I said, the music is indeed progressive, very, very technical nature. Death metal, Only Time Will Tell is the name of the album. Comes with a booklet with a rather sci-fi oriented image, or that's at least what I'm getting out of it. One could say a cyberpunk theme, or maybe it's just some sci-fi thing with a dystopian setting. Anyway, things like the mega metropolis kind of indicate that this might have something to do with the kind of a Judge Dredd like of a thing, and this kind of costume definitely implies there is some kind of a massive multiplayer online gaming background coming to it, or at least certain kind of video game setting. Anyway, this is how it looks. This is the band image. Look at these handsome fellas. We play death metal in technical ways. Yes, that's Contrarian for you. Let's take a look at the band's Metal Archive site for a little bit of insight here. So the band has been active only since 2014, relatively new and young band, but they have been pushing out albums quite in hasty ways. I mean, 2015, 2017, 19, and now 2020. So this is actually late 2020 release here, just waiting for its turn in queue. Been since like 6 months that this album got out. It's out on vinyl, CD, and digital. As you can see, I have here the CD version. Now, these 30 minutes of music means that this album doesn't really wear you down. That is, it's compact enough to make a point and then leave you just digest the music, which I guess is a really good thing, because after all, this is actually some very, very technical music. It's actually the kind of a technical music that makes you wonder if these guys are from, I don't know, musical college or something, because it clearly seen that these guys know their instruments back and forth, blindfolded and all that stuff. Now, for some people, that is a lot of people, majority of metal fans out there, are not gonna like this, because this is way too technical, way too detailed in music, and because it's kind of like that, it's also multifaceted, having these weird details and anecdotal kind of things in the music. I'm pointing out to modern days Death, that is the late years of Death, and other bands operating in that territory. So very, very technical, almost chassis kind of approach to death metal, which, in case you happen to like, well, good news, this is for you. Now, the really good thing with this album is that once these guys know what they're doing, it's full of these details which are really nice to kind of follow where they go. I mean, even the bass guitar alone does more interesting stuff than so many bands having, with their guitars combined. There's lots of things going on. Also, the drummer is filled with majestic pouch of tricks, which he doesn't, have problem showing off. I mean, he's not a shy guy. He has this, hey, did you hear? I could play this kind of stuff and all that stuff. Now, everything here basically is really, really technical, but it's not really brutal. So, in case you're wondering about bands like Origin or Archbar being very fast, very brutal, and at the same time very technical, this is not that kind. This is more about later years of Death being kind of a more mid-tempo-ish and more kind of a melodic and easygoing. Maybe not melodic as you might think of melodic death metal, but I mean, in the terms of death metal, this is on the verge of actually being anything to do with death metal, except for the vocals, which are, again, the growly type. But definitely so progressive and technical that this is exactly what you're looking for, in case you're trying to find bands that are like, hey, this is a little bit of cynic or atheist or death-oriented kind of stuff. So in case you want that kind of a music where these tricks happen and take place and really make you wonder what's going on with the band, this is the type of thing. Now, the downside of it is it's really hard to follow in the sense of, the kind of a groove, the kind of a setting that takes you on a journey, like, hey, I'm really following, these songs have interesting structures, because that's not really the case here. And sometimes the so-called red thread is, lost, when you're trying to figure out where the band is going to go. Sometimes it's like, okay, I don't get the point here. But anyway, I would say this is definitely on the plus side. It's a decent release with really interesting approach to progressive death metal, even if not very heavy and brutal in that sense. So in case you just happen to be a fan of that style, check this one out. It's an interesting release. And like I said, it's been already out for 6 months. So there it is in your favorite format, unless that's a tape. Now, go check it out, and I hope you like it. Take care. Bye-bye.